This is our fucking city.
He just shook up the world.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Raul Infante here with Taking Dish Sports. Don't forget, we're not only the guys that watch these sports, but we analyze them. So today we're actually going to do a New England sports update. But before we do that, I want to salute all the first responders that helped the survivors of 9/11. So salute to you guys. You guys will always be remembered. With that, we're going to move on to the New England Patriots. We're also going to cover the Red Sox for a little bit, the Boston Celtics, and the hot start that the Boston Bruins are going to have to make another run for the Stanley Cup. So, wow, what a performance by the New England Patriots against the Steelers. The first Sunday night game of the season for the NFL, the new season, and man, that was a laugh. Listen, that was a complete blowout. 33-30. I thought more. I thought higher of the Steelers. There was a lot of people that were saying that the Steelers would be better off without Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, and boy, were they wrong. I didn't think that because I think so highly of the New England Patriots. I saw what that defense could do. We all know what Tom Brady and the offense could do. We know how Bill Belichick owns Mike Tomlin and also Ben Roethlisberger. It does not matter who they have, especially in New England. They're 5-0 now in their career. But let's go ahead and start talking about that game. Listen, by halftime, the fact that the game was 20-0, I was in shock. But there was a few things before that were driving me crazy. And Mike Tomlin in this game really reminded me of how Rex Ryan-ish he could be at times. The fact that it was 4th and something in his own 50, and he goes for it instead of punting it to the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots have a high-power offense. Everybody knows this in the NFL. Don't give them more advantages. You give them the ball in your territory, and guess what? The Patriots go and score. The Patriots did struggle a little bit in the red zone in this game. Tom Brady was only able to get 3 touchdowns. Yes, it was enough to win the game, but the harder that they get, the more chances that teams give them, the more that they're going to score. Everybody knows that the New England Patriots start off slow in the first 4 weeks. It's like an extended preseason. But this game, they did not show that. Tom Brady was not playing, throwing 341 yards, 3 touchdowns and no picks when Ben Roethlisberger, it seemed like he did not show up. I don't know if it was the rust of not being in the preseason long enough, but the fact that you have James Conner, your lead back, the back that replaced Le'Veon Bell, that's supposed to be the guy that solved all your problems, especially last year, how he balled out, especially in fantasy football. 10 carries for 21 yards. Okay, the Patriots solved the running game. So how about the passing game? Wait. Who's the number 2 receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Name them for me, please. Because the Patriots dared Ben Roethlisberger to throw it to anybody minus Juju Smith-Schuster. Come on, Pittsburgh, be smart. You guys know that Bill Belichick, everything about him is about scheme. Connor and Juju Smith-Schuster, by far, besides Ben Roethlisberger, are your best players on the field. So that's exactly what the Pats were going to do. And the Pittsburgh Steelers had no response. They go in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, and they look like crap. And then the funniest thing, you have a 4th and 1, and you're getting blown out in this game, and they kick the field goal to avoid being shut out. That is not a way to win. It's not even inspiring by Coach Mike Tomlin. I'd rather him go out there and try to go for it on 4th and 1 and try to get that touchdown and get the morale up for the players rather than not showing faith in your own players. Don't blame that on your players. It starts off with the head coach, right? So why not go for it on 4th and 1? He doesn't, goes for the kick. Oh, let's go. Let's start cheering, guys. We scored. It's 33-3. You still got blown out. The best thing that the Pittsburgh Steelers did in this game was stop the rushing game of the New England Patriots. Yeah, maybe Sony Michel with 16 carries and only 15 yards, but as a team, they still had 99 rushing yards. So really, who did they stop, right? You had Josh Gordon that had a massive game with a touchdown. You had Julian Edelman that had his 8 receptions, and you had Philip Dorsett The one that's looking like the new Chris Hogan in the playoffs against the Pittsburgh Steelers with 2 touchdowns, blown coverages by the safety. It was a massive underperformance by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hope they have a great bounce back for week 2 because that makes our team, the New England Patriots, look that much better, not only on paper, but on the field. And I saw that Kansas City Chiefs game. And listen, I'm always impressed by Patrick Mahomes, but I was not impressed by that performance just because of the opponent that he had. And that secondary is still trash. They can't guard anybody. The Patriots have great secondary. They have great receivers. They have they don't have Demaryius Thomas anymore. Guys, that was a joke. Demaryius Thomas, I feel bad for those guys that picked up Demaryius Thomas in fantasy football, especially because you're like, oh man, he looked good in game 4 in the preseason, right? Our backup quarterback, he was probably the saddest person because if Tom Brady goes down, knock on wood, that's not going to happen. It's only happened once in his career with that ACL tear, but we won't go there. Point is Demaryius Thomas is now a Jet. Trade him for a 6th-round pick. And now we got maybe arguably the number 1 receiver in all the NFL in Antonio Brown. Yes, he has a baggage of problems. Yes, he had the problems with the Raiders. But in my opinion, if there's any team that could stop his shenanigans and actually keep him in a fine line for a short period of time, is the New England Patriots. So I feel like it's a great fit. Did they guarantee him too much money up front? Absolutely. Does he have all these rape charges? Yes, and that's a serious matter. Of course, I'm concerned about that. Of course, it's Bill Belichick. It's his system. It's his team. You have to follow that. You don't follow that, and what happens? You get cut. This organization is the only organization, I think, in the NFL that will not tolerate anything that Antonio Brown does. But Bill Belichick, even after hearing the allegations of the female, still is sticking with Antonio Brown. He practiced his first day with the New England Patriots on Wednesday. And, the question was asked, hey, is he going to play on Sunday? And I really think that all depends on AB. If you notice, remember Josh Gordon when he first came with the Patriots. He was behind. He missed all the training camp. He wasn't practicing. Yes, was he getting better? But if you notice in that first game, all he was doing was slant routes. So I think the Patriots are going to do the same thing with Antonio Brown. Tom Brady's not going to stand there with the ball and start pointing like we used to do in backyard football. This is not how it is in the NFL, right? So Antonio Brown has a lot to learn if he ends up playing with the New England Patriots. If he does, boy, this team is going to be that much better. But do I think the New England Patriots can win without him? Absolutely. There's a reason why they're number 1 in power ranks right now. And they did that without AB. They routed his former team and the Pittsburgh Steelers without that team. Without that player. So with or without him, I feel like the New England Patriots are going to at least make it to the AFC Championship. But with him, boy, the sky's the limit for that team. And Tom Brady started off slow last season. Now you could tell he was a little offended. His numbers were down. His incentives, he didn't meet all of them. This year, there was no Costa Rica for Tom Brady. It was Montana. It was California. It was Foxborough. He did everything he had to do to look good. Man, he had N'Keal Harry fly out with Julian Edelman right after the draft to get this kid ready. That's how serious Tom Brady and the Patriots are about repeating. And let's not even go about the defense. Just everything looks scary altogether. The offense, the defense, the special team. How about that Gunnar Nelson going north-south? Everything just looks like it's clicking for this Patriots team. Next week, they play the Miami Dolphins. Man, what a bad team. I mean, I get it. You want to tank. But 59-10 against the Baltimore Ravens with a new offensive coordinator? Is Lamar Jackson really that good? Is their new running back really that good? Are their new receivers really that good? Or is the Miami Dolphins that bad? We all know the Patriots have a bad track record against Miami in Miami. Why is it? Who knows? But we'll see next week. I think the Patriots route that team. I think they take it personal because without that return back, without that stupid Wildcat at the end of the game in Miami, the Patriots play at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. They don't go to Kansas City. So I think it was a blessing that we beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Reason being is because they would have said Patrick Mahomes would have won at home if it wasn't for the field advantage that the Patriots had. The Patriots beat Patrick Mahomes at home and they beat him away. Now what do you got to say, right? Didn't mean to rhyme there. Look, but there was one massive concern that I had in this game. And I'm sorry to be nitpicky, but you have to do it, right? David Andrews has been the center for many years, has been great with Tom Brady. He goes down with the blood clots. Hopefully, he can recover and come back next year. We've seen what it's done to superstars before or just great athletes in general. Look at Chris Bosh. Really ended his career. Wasn't able to return back again. David Andrews is hoping to come back by the following season. It's confirmed that he's done for the year. But Ted Karras, listen, he really has to work on the shotgun snap. There was way too many times that Tom Brady was getting the ball slow, and you see the D line get into Tom Brady. Luckily, Tom Brady knows how to work the pocket and gets rid of the football really, really quickly. But what happens to a team when you play, let's say, the Chargers that has a Joey Bosa? What happened in the playoff games? If you're a true New England Patriots fan, you listen to the mic'd up. What did he say, right? Joey Bosa was saying, oh, Tom Brady, he's so incredible because he gets the ball out quick. That also has to do with the center, because if you're in the shotgun, the slower the ball gets to Brady, the less time he has to work. He has to focus on seeing the ball. If he's not looking at the ball and he's looking downfield, he could fumble. There's many things that Ted Karras has to work on, but I think that was the only weak point that the New England Patriots had. So with that, we're going to move on to the Red Sox. It was a disappointing year after the most wins all time by a Red Sox team, right? We're going to get to why I thought it was a disappointing year. I'm pretty sure all you guys know why it was. But after this short break, we'll talk about the rest of the teams. So I hope you guys enjoy the first half of the episode. Hey guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell button for more notifications. So with that being said, we're going to continue on with our Boston Red Sox as promised with their disappointing season after having the record of the most wins in franchise history. Man, what a season this was. We knew that the Boston Red Sox were going to have problems in the bullpen, but we did not know that they were going to have so much issues with pitching in general. I know that the bullpen have done a better job as of late than earlier in the season. It was just a mess. But the fact that you have that many blown losses, listen, as soon as the relievers came in the game, you were pretty much biting your nails. You were asking yourself, man, can they pull this off? It's only a three-run lead that the Red Sox have right now. And they would constantly lose the games. But it's not only on the relievers. We have our starting pitching that was terrible. You have Rick Porcello. You have David Price. You have Chris Sale. 3 Cy Young winners. And they're not able to get even 10 wins in the season. Eduardo Rodriguez was your best pitcher easily. Obviously, you have the 15 wins. But we all know that it's a team sport. And you cannot win without your key players. Speaking of key players right now that you might have to say goodbye to get under the luxury tax is somebody like JD Martinez or Mookie Betts. If you had to choose one, who would you choose? Would you choose a player that wasn't even in the MLB a few years ago, bounces back, goes to San Diego, kicks butt, comes to the Red Sox, kicks butt, bats for batting average, bats for home runs, bats for RBIs, is clutch in the moment, can hit in any place of the field, being JD Martinez? Or do you stick with the younger player and Mookie Betts that should have won back-to-back MVP seasons, had more of a down year, and likes to drive the ball to left field more? It's a hard pick, but I would take Mookie Betts. He's been in the system longer. He's a younger player, but it all depends on what he's going to demand. You're going to have to let go of players like Rick Porcello. You're obviously going to have to take care of the relievers. So we really got to lean on the GM to make those decisions. Only problem, who's the Red Sox next GM? Because Dave Dombrowski is obviously fired. You know, he had a track record even when the Detroit days. I thought that he did a phenomenal job with the starting rotation. I remember when the Boston Red Sox were down in the series against the Tigers, and I'm like, man, if the Red Sox lose this game, then pretty much the series is done. If they went 2-0, if they went down 0-2 in Fenway Park against the Tigers, and then David Ortiz hits a clearing grand slam that ends up changing the entire series, and then you have the best pitcher in the Nationals right now that was also a part of that team with Justin Verlander. So he could get a team together. Problem is, he ruins a lot of farm systems, and then he has to pay a lot of players top dollar in order to get talent. He only knows talent when he sees it in front of him, veteran players. He doesn't really know how to draft players like that. Baseball operations and GM of the Boston Red Sox, with the farm system done to get Chris Sale, and then obviously being over the luxury tax, I feel like the Red Sox are in trouble coming next season. They have a lot to do and a lot of thinking. Man, you got to scratch your head and think, man, why didn't the Red Sox stick with Theo Epstein? Cheap bastards, right? They always seem to make the right decision a second too late. Don't wait. You know, I like what John Henry was doing. Hey, if you got the money, you're one of the most richest franchises in all of baseball. You have the money, put it up front. But with this luxury tax issue, there's going to be a lot of problems that you have to figure out. The offense, how in the world were you for most of the season number 1 in runs batted in? but you're 8 games behind the Yankees and not even holding one of the wild card spots. You want to talk about the relievers? Okay. Oakland A's actually had more blown saves as a team all year and is in the race for the wild card spots. So it wasn't only that. The Red Sox were too streaky. They'll score 8 runs one game, and you're like, oh man, tomorrow's gonna be a bad game because they weren't consistent with 4, 5, 6 runs a game, you know? So honestly, I think it's going to be another bad year for the Red Sox next year. They might make the playoffs, but again, it's going to be a big, big problem. But again, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. This is exactly what I want. I want to be wrong because last time I thought I was right, I ended up saying that the Red Sox should at least be in the playoffs and look like they should be the favorites of the World Series. That's what most people thought. And look, they're not even making the playoffs. And we've seen it time and time and time again. 2007, 2013, and now this season with 2018 and 2019, where the Red Sox win the World Series, and it seems like they kind of fall asleep and they don't do any changes for their team to make it better, and they don't end up making the playoffs next season, right? Same thing happened this year. You needed bullpen help, and thank God you didn't get Craig Kimbrell, because look where that guy's at. And in the Cubs, making disasters. That might have not been the answer, but you certainly needed help, at least in the trade deadline, and you didn't do that. I think the biggest positive as of late for the Boston Red Sox is their hometown hero, the man that brought championships to Boston after 86 years, and David Ortiz throwing that first pitch, looking good against the New York Yankees. Of course, the Boston Red Sox lose that game. Yankees, I gotta admit, the Yankees are the better team this year. They look better all around. They look super, super scary. But again, I hope they crap their pants in the playoffs like always, because I'm a diehard Boston fan. So Houston, step it up. LA, win a World Series. Houston, do something, because you just lost. It looked like a football score against the Oakland A's. So hopefully those teams could do something to stop the Yankees, because I don't want to hear it from another Yankee fan saying that they won another title, because we're considered the city of champions, and I want to keep it that way, right? So with that being said, let's move on to the team with the most titles in the NBA. Not the Los Angeles Lakers. They could kick rocks. The Boston Celtics, right? You got all the craziness that happened with the team last year with who he shall not be named, right? And then Al Horford going to Philly. Listen, this team is going to be a scrappy team. I like the Boston Celtics this year. I like that they don't have the pressure behind them. Hey, I think this team could actually overachieve. I think this team could do a lot of good things. Can they win the NBA Finals? It'll be tough to tell, but I would love at least, listen, a moral victory. Finish over Brooklyn again in the playoff rankings, and I'll be happy with that. I know they got KD. I know they got Kyrie. I know that team is stacked, but listen, the Boston Celtics have a lot of young talent. This is where, listen, everybody keeps saying JB needs to really bring the talent level up, step up in the team. But I feel like Jaylen Brown has had 2 solid playoff years. Jason Tatum, on the other hand, is the one that's getting all the credit. He's in the top 100 in the NBA as talent-wise. What? How can you say that, right? I think the sky's the limit for this kid, especially now that you don't have Kyrie running the show. You got Kemba Walker in there, right? You got Gordon Hayward that plays the same position. A lot of guys play the same position. But I feel like with Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, this team could do a lot of good things. So hopefully they could come back, bounce back, and forget about everything that happened last season, and just make it fun again to watch, because last season was brutal. And the Boston Bruins, the most beloved team recently. Honestly, I was not mad that the Boston Bruins didn't win the championships. It happens. They lost at home. Yes. Was it a heartbreaker? Absolutely. Are they still a great team? Absolutely. But again, that's another team that's going to be extremely fun to watch, and I can't wait to watch them again. Hopefully they could go on a crazy playoff run again. Hopefully they could prove all the doubters wrong again in the regular season. But again, another sport that I'm extremely excited for. So with that being said, that actually wraps up the episode today on Taking This Sports. Here with your boy, Raul Infante. Don't forget, we're not only the guys that watch these sports, but we analyze them.